From the secret hideout of Hedley Lamar, it's the IGN Digigods. Now, two guys who didn't bring enough gum for everybody, Wade Major and Mark Kaiser.
Yeah, Hedley Lamar. Come on, Corey, give us the shout out.
That was brought to you by Tav Rainey, rhymes with Lon Chaney.
And that's it. Thank you, Corey. Mark, what are you reading?
I'm reading something that you had handed me. That, you know...
You blew the whole thing.
I did.
Okay, fine.
Normally,
you blew the setup.
Yes, I did. Normally, I would have thrown this away and laughed at it, but I really wonder if I should make something from the unofficial Hunger Games cookbook.
Right. Well,
You know,
it's funny.
Blah.
They it's funny when I got the outreach from the publicist. Would you be interested in the Hunger Games cookbook? I was like, yeah, because all we do is talk about movies and food on this show. That's like, why not?
The show has evolved, hasn't it?
It has.
Well, some of the I've made nothing from this. I just was handed this 5 minutes ago. I guess the cookbook includes recipes that are in the...
And this just came yesterday. We haven't had a chance to actually try to make any of this stuff, but we are talking about it today because this is the week that the Hunger Games comes out on Blu-ray.
Like a cheesy, meaty hash brown casserole. I guess that's... It gives you the book and the chapter that the recipe is in.
Yeah.
Like cheesy, meaty hash brown casserole is in Mockingjay chapter 24. Mm-hmm. The bizarre yet nonetheless helpful tigress makes this casserole for Katniss's team before their final showdown with the Capitol. This filling breakfast treat, when viewed in comparison to the other breakfasts that Katniss has enjoyed in the Capitol, is symbolic of the current depressed state of affairs in the city. Each recipe has a tip from your sponsor.
Oh, boy. TMI.
So there's black bean parsnip soup, roasted chestnuts, butter parsley mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Creamed goose over crumbled bacon polenta.
Ooh.
Now, can you make that without goose?
That kind of sounds both good and disgusting at the same time.
Now, that's from Catching Fire, Chapter 6. No Capitol banquet is complete without several fancy fowl dishes. Even the evil President Snow would want to stop to enjoy this delicious goose with bacon polenta, although it may be too rich for Katniss's taste, which is to say maybe too rich for your taste. Actually, that sounds good. And then they have desserts like harvest apple pie, ginger cookies, and chocolate custard bread pudding with caramel sauce. I noticed that nothing here has over like 10 ingredients. So these are relatively...
easy?
They're kind of
easy. Well,
you
know how things are after the apocalypse. There aren't that many ingredients left.
I don't know what... now, in the Hunger Games, which I did not read the series, everybody's poor, right?
Well, except for the Donald Sutherland.
Except for the rich people?
Donald Sutherland and all the people who have, funky colored hair.
I like how they have the breaded Italian pork chops for the brave.
Yeah.
As opposed to the breaded Italian pork chops for the weak? For the timid? Anyway, so this is the unofficial Hunger Games cookbook. These all look fairly easy. They all look fairly fine, I guess. I'll make something. I don't know.
Yeah, nice.
Although, you know what? I really hate to put this on my counter because you've got, you got the Julia Child book. You got the New York Times cookbooks.
Sure.
You got the Martha Stewart cookbooks. And then there it is, the unofficial Hunger Games cookbook.
Nice.
Thereby proclaiming me the lamest cook in the world.
150 recipes. That's great.
I should give this to a Hunger Games member. I think there's a member of my family who loves the Hunger Games. I should give it to her.
Why not?
Anyway, so that's the unofficial Hunger Games cookbook by Emily and Sarah Baines.
We got a great show today. We've got a Vox Box. We've got
which is Wade's way of saying the show will now improve.
Yes, the show will now
compared
improve.
to the last 5 minutes of talking about the Hunger Games cookbook.
We're going to talk about another book in a second, but we got DVDs, we got Blu-rays, we got a Vox Box, maybe 2 Vox Boxes. We'll see how the time goes. And a giveaway. Mark, we got a giveaway.
What?
We do. We have a giveaway. But first, I'm going to talk about this other book, which I think is something very special. Because it was a good friend of ours, a LAFCA colleague, who wrote it. Bravo to Charles Solomon for the Toy Story films, an animated journey. You know what? This has a foreword by Hayao Miyazaki and an afterword by John Lasseter. So Charles's book is bookended by two of the greatest living animation icons, one from Japan, one from Pixar, of course. And you know what, Mark? This is a great book. Come on, tell people. This is like the awesome coffee table book. This is the first big thing you should be putting on your holiday gift list.
It is a great book. I remember when the Toy Story box set came out on DVD.
Yep.
That was considered like the ultimate way to express and put on your shelf your Toy Story love. Now I think this book is.
This book is great, and I mean, you know, for anybody who doesn't know, Charles is sort of our resident animation expert in LAFCA. Everyone defers to Charles. He is truly an animation historian. It is his love. It is his passion. He has seen just about every animated frame ever created in humankind, and he's just a mensch. We just love him dearly, and this is such a beautiful coffee table book. It's these full color, hardcover, glossy sketches. All the little storyboards, conceptual artwork, frames from the movies. It's just and the whole history of the Toy Story films is laid out. Like here, I love this stuff right here. This is on page 43. It has two hand-drawn charts. One is the Disney animation production flow, from story to treatment, through the effects animation, the in-between work, the cleanup. And the other one is the computer animation production flow, which shows you how it goes from treatment to pre-production artwork, the background design, character modeling. I mean, these two complicated flow charts. And you look at this and you go, holy crap, this is such a daunting process. This isn't like making a regular movie. This isn't like, okay, let's get the cameras out and put them, shoot the actors, say some dialogue and edit it and put it together. I mean, there are teams of people all working simultaneously on different things who all have to be coordinated toward each other and the final product. It is an unbelievable amount of work. And
well, don't forget too is that the original Toy Story, we're talking 1995.
That was the first film to actually pioneer this stuff.
And and imagine being the pioneer of something that is still complicated today. Imagine how complicated it was 17 years ago or 18 years ago when they were making the film.
Yeah.
And, when you look at the difference between Toy Story 1 and 2, like in Toy Story, the camera never moved.
No.
Everything was a quote-unquote lockdown.
Yep.
But in Toy Story 2, that was a bit amazing
they
because
were pushing it.
Because they moved the camera, they rack focused, they did stuff in ways that they couldn't do with Toy Story.
So I mean, this is the beauty of this book. This book will give you insights that you never would have imagined having any other way. It's a terrific job. I know Charles has been working on this for quite some time, and he is very proud of it, and he has every reason to be. And I just cannot say enough about it. We wholeheartedly, enthusiastically recommend this to put on anybody's holiday gift list who has any kind of love for the Toy Story films. They will not be disappointed. Absolutely terrific.
Now, should we do here's the thing. We could talk about upcoming Blu-rays, or we could talk about all this children's stuff.
I'm going to blow through the children's stuff, Mark.
You told me this would take 10 minutes.
I'm going to do this as quickly as I can.
You said 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
I'm going to time you. Hang on. Don't start yet.
I'm going to try to do it less than 10 minutes.
You know what? That'd be fantastic. Okay. Now, this is... okay, I'll give you the 3. You know what? I'm going to time you. So the timer will go off if it takes you more than 10 minutes to do this, and then you will be horribly embarrassed and possibly drop dead from embarrassment. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, you got 10 minutes starting right now.
All right, I'm running like Alice and Felix. The Adventures of Tintin, Season 3. This is the final season of the animated Tintin show, or Tintin, if you want to be linguistically correct. So much better than the Spielberg film, because it's true to the Hervé animation, the stuff from the comic books. It's absolutely terrific. And if you have the other 2 seasons, you got to get this one. It's just a joy. We got a trio of Power Rangers stuff here. The original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the crazy, insane Saban show that started it all, where he went and he found this Japanese show and he shot some new stuff in the U.S. and edited it all together so that they had Caucasian faces underneath those masks. And next thing you know, you have this ridiculous phenomenon that it just won't go away. This is Season 1, Volume 1, the first 30 episodes on 3 discs of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which incredibly has never been on DVD before. Every other Power Rangers show has been put on DVD. This one has not been. So finally, back to the origins, right?
Pho.
Then we also have Power Rangers Super Samurai, the Super Powered Black Box Volume 1, and the Power Rangers Super Samurai Super Showdown Volume 2. This is a new to DVD, pretty much the same kind of junk. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. The Superhero Squad show, the Infinity Gauntlet, Season 2, Volume 4, just won't go away. We're not fond of the whole tweaked micro version of these superheroes, the whole Marvel thing kind of reduced to a Tiny Toons element. But you know what? It clearly has been going for years, and a lot of kids love it, so there you go. Who am I to judge the kids? Got some anime here. Great stuff from Funimation. Season 4, Voyage 1 of One Piece, which is that swashbuckling, wacky, crazy, eccentrically animated bit of anime. A lot of people love this. It's kind of anime piracy. It's like Pirates of the Caribbean done anime style. And then also here we have Collection 7 of One Piece. Now, I'm not even going to try and explain how this all fits together, because Season 4, Voyage 1 is episodes 206 to 217. And collection number 7 is like a whole bunch of different adventures, and I can't keep track of this stuff. So, but if you like One Piece, if you like all that swashbuckling anime, there you go. Groove, rock on.
Don't waste time, Wade.
I know.
You only got about 8 minutes left.
Ah, jeez. Okay, Nickelodeon's. Oh my gosh, Mark, you love this, don't you? You do. You love this.
You're wasting time.
I know. I'm wasting
7.5 minutes.
Okay, never mind. This is the Secret of Lost Kingdom movie. This is basically the Winx Club. Barbies and it's sort of like, I don't know, what's the other thing other than Barbie? What was that other bunch of dolls? Bratz. Yeah, this is like Barbie crossed with Bratz crossed with Tinkerbell. They've all got wings and they fly around. They're all little fairies, and it's whatever it is. It's good for little girls, I guess. And if you got really tiny girls, they're going to love Doc McStuffins. Oh, friendship is the best medicine. This is from Disney
Doc
Jr.
McStuffins.
Doc McStuffins. Look at the little. What is it about hippos that people think they're cute? They're not cute. Is it the teeth? They will kill you. Hippopotami will kill you. Anyway, this is just little Doc McStuffins, and she's a 6-year-old girl, and she's so cute, and she's just a little doctor. That's all I'm going to say about that one. The Smurfs and the Magic Flute. This is an original, full-length feature film about the Smurfs and a magic flute. Am I moving along quickly? I mean, what else are you going to say? Smurfs and a magic flute. It's like
it sounds like pornography. When you say magic flute to me, I think pornography.
The Fresh Beat Band. Where do these people come from? This is from Nickelodeon, and the Fresh Beat Band is another one of these concoctions that Disney and Nickelodeon and all of these family enterprises do. They just go out and they find people who are a little bit too cheerful, who are on some kind of crazy uppers, and they smack them together and say, "Sing, dance, put on makeup, do that thing that you do," and suddenly they're like a hit phenomenon. So the Fresh Beat Band, I find them incredibly annoying, way too cheerful, but but what do you want? And there's also a thing on here, a TV movie called The Wizard of Song, which is kind of this weird Wizard of Oz takeoff. It's very creepy. We've also got VeggieTales, The Penniless Princess, God's Little Girl. And the whole VeggieTales thing is just it's really, I just hate the animation, I really do. But in this case, it's very biblical. I'm just telling you, this is basically a Bible story, or a Bible derived parable. If that offends you, or if it makes you happy, just know that going in. The Angry Beavers, Season 3, Part 2, from Nickelodeon as well. This is more of that kind of Crick-Falusi-inspired animation. The Angry Beavers are pretty cool, very funny, but kind of creepy. Moving on. Angelina Ballerina, Dreams Do Come True. I just can't get with the Angelina Ballerina thing. Rodents should not dance, much less wear tutus, but for the little girls that find this encouraging, by all means. You notice I always make a caveat, because people have kids, and I'm not going to say, look, it's crap and your kid's taste sucks, even if I might think that.
But kids don't even know what they're watching.
They don't.
They go, whoa, colors and bright music and blah blah. They have no idea. They're not breaking down its thematic content.
No, they're not. Speaking of Fireman Sam, Heroic Rescue Adventures. Oh my gosh, this just feels so urgent. Fireman Sam, what do you want? He's a fireman, he saves people. It kind of feels like a watered down Thunderbirds, and I much prefer the rescues that the Thunderbirds did.
Ooh, the Thunderbirds.
I remember when the Thunderbirds sent one of those giant spaceships to save a kid from a parking lot that was on fire. It's awesome.
The concrete was on fire.
It's awesome. The Amazing World of Gumball, the DVD. This is a Cartoon Network thing, and there are times when Cartoon Network just completely goes off the ranch. Maybe I should have watched more of this. Maybe I should have really tried to absorb it. But I really don't understand Gumball's world. It's like they went and got a bunch of people who were high on acid to just sit down and do as much weird animation as they possibly could. And hey, it's Gumball. I don't get it. Ever since Teletubbies, which is great, everyone kind of feels like the gloves are off. Anything goes in animation, and sometimes limits would be nice. Really. Got another piece from Funimation here, which is CGI animation. This is Oblivion Island, Haruka and the Magic Mirror. This is a feature-length film. I don't know if Haruka and the Magic Mirror was ever a series. Perhaps someone who knows anime could tell me that. But this is sort of sweet. It's a little bit Alice in Wonderland, Wizard of Oz-like, and it's mixed with some of those anime iconic ideas that don't really make sense to me. But it's nice, inoffensive. Let's get into some superhero stuff here. We've got Young Justice, Dangerous Secrets from Cartoon Network, which is, of course, teenage Justice League stuff. I like my superheroes grown up, but that being said, Young Justice isn't horrible, and this continues the series. And then we also have from the Marvel Knights line in their eco packaging, the Astonishing X-Men Torn, and Joss Whedon was integrally involved in this, and the animation is outstanding. This is from Shout Factory, and I think the writing is great, and the animation is great, and I think the whole Marvel Knights series is pretty cool. Not from the superhero realm is Squidbillies, Volume 5. And, said it before, I'll say it again, I just don't get it. So, but anyway, this is all done up kind of southern redneck style with the artwork and everything. And if you're a Squidbillies fan, go knock yourselves out. I'm not going to validate you. Also in eco packaging is Mia and the Migoo, which is one of those things that gets that family-approved seal that always kind of scares me because it means that it's got a lesson. It's teaching kids something. But you know what? I got to be honest. The animation is very nice. It's all hand-drawn 2D animation. Beautiful and really quite a sweet story, to be honest. It's a nice little tropical lesson on life about this little girl who has to rescue her father, who's been trapped at a construction site, and it has a fantasy element, but it also has a real sweetness to it, and some really good American English language voices that they brought in for the dubbing. Whoopi Goldberg, Matthew Modine, Wallace Shawn, James Woods. Not bad, right?
Love me some James Woods. He was a voice on Family Guy.
Totally.
Which you don't like.
No, I don't. And the Looney Tunes show, There Goes the Neighborhood, 14 episodes, and you know what? It tries to be the old Looney Tunes, doesn't really succeed, but it's got its moments, and it's nice to sort of see them try at least. So they get an A for effort, 2 discs, 14 episodes, not bad. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, not really superheroes, but they're having kind of a renaissance with these guys, and this is the complete final season of the animated show, and it's fine. 8 episodes, and a few bonus features, including a couple of bonus episodes and some interview stuff. Not bad. I'm not a big Mutant Ninja Turtle fan, but whatever. And then we get actually, let me do this first before I get to that. Then we have My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, Royal Pony Wedding. This is not for boys. Just telling you. Mark, what?
Oh, that's your 10 minutes.
Is that it?
Your 10 minutes is over.
Okay, I'll finish up. My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, and then a Disney live-action thing with people I've never heard of called Let It Shine, The Truth, which is, just get some cute young teenagers and let them sing and dance and teach kids another lesson, and I don't know. I don't get it. But there it is, Let It Shine, The Truth, the music.
All right, Wade, let's talk about some upcoming DVDs or Blu-rays. What do you say?
Oh, my gosh, I can't believe I got through all that.
That was very good, by the way.
Thank you.
You almost got it through. Here's the thing. If you removed my comments, of which there were very few, because I was giving you all the chance in the world,
right?
It would have been about 10 minutes.
I timed it right.
Yes, you did.
Okay, Mark, getting into new movies. First.
I just said I wanted to talk about new Blu-rays.
We are. We're going to talk about new Blu-rays.
Well, I meant upcoming Blu-rays.
Oh, upcoming Blu-rays, by all means.
wait, we can't just be a show that riffs on children's DVDs that no one's going to buy.
All right.
We also have to tell our fans what's coming up in the future.
Tell them.
It's Criterion time, Wade. Criterion just made their November announcements. You want to know what's coming on at Criterion in November, Wade? You don't even care.
Tell me, please. Tell me.
You just care about
I'm
Power
dying
Rangers.
to know. I'm dying to know.
Rashomon.
Ooh.
I'm telling you. Kurosawa. One of the greats. Weekend. Godar's Weekend. Come on.
Yeah, I know. Totally. Which is interesting because another movie called Weekend just came out this week from Criterion, which we're going to talk about. I don't. You have to in your library. If you could keep track of that, you got to put the date down because 2 different weekends.
That is true.
This is the one from last year. This is the more recent film.
Now,
It has
this
nothing,
the,
to do with, nothing to do with the Godard film.
Now, the new one. You're talking about the gay-themed one.
Yes,
Which I thought was fine. You didn't.
it's fine. It's okay. I don't love. I respect it, but I don't particularly enjoy it.
Well, here's something you can enjoy. Wade, the big one, at least as far as I'm concerned, the big Criterion release for November is Heaven's Gate.
Damn right.
Heaven's Gate, Michael Cimino, of course, the movie that pretty much ended Cimino's career after the Oscar-winning success of The Deer Hunter.
Yep.
Horribly over budget.
Yep.
It was kind of like Cleopatra. People cared about the budget and how it almost sank the studio. Heaven's Gate, people read about, cared about the budget and how it sank some careers. And now everybody cares about budgets. Before Cleopatra and Heaven's Gate, nobody cared about budgets.
Nobody cared about grosses either.
Now everybody cares about budgets.
Nobody cared about budgets. No one cared about grosses.
Well, grosses is more like Jaws, and because
Yeah.
look, Jaws was the first film to open in over like 100 theaters or 1,000 theaters.
No
or
one
something.
cared. No one cared about what movies made. There were only a few movies that where they cared.
Well, because
they
Jaws
kept-
made over $100 million was the first
yeah,
one.
Yeah, but prior to that, the only time people really cared was when these movies became phenomenons or phenomena. It'd be like Gone with the Wind and Snow White and Dr. Zhivago and Sound of Music. That's when people cared. It was like, oh my gosh, it's made how much? Other than that, nobody really cared.
Now, speaking of Cleopatra, Eureka Entertainment, now they're a British company, British distributor, they are going to be releasing in September a dual-format steelbook edition of Cleopatra. Now, what Eureka did is they licensed Universal's HD transfer for the Blu-ray. So we haven't seen it yet, so I'm not really sure what it looks like, but it looks like it's going to be a great package. But again, it's from a British distributor.
Nice.
The print license from Universal. We haven't seen it, but it's still Cleopatra, and it's still a gigantic, unbelievable bomb that sank the studio, and that's why we love it.
Okay.
Because we love big, gigantic, bloated disasters.
Is that it for?
Speaking of big, gigantic, bloated
no.
disaster, Wade, Avatar's 3D on Blu-ray. Avatar Blu-ray 3D, Wade. You have already pre-ordered it, haven't you?
No,
You should.
nobody cares about that. People are kind of pissed off about that too.
About what?
That it's taken this long. They kind of feel like he's just milking them and he's just trying to drag it out. And
He really is dragging it out, isn't
yeah, of course he is.
he? Anyway, so Avatar 3D coming out. What else coming out, Wade? Kino Lorber's got some good stuff coming out in November. They have there's a Selznick collection. I think a lot of these are already in public domain, so I don't know what print they use. But the Selznick collection includes Nothing Sacred, Farewell to Arms, the original Star is Born, Bird of Paradise, and Little Lord Fauntleroy. And then on November 13th, Kino Lorber will be coming out with a Sergei Eisenstein double feature, 2 Blu-rays,
Nice.
Battleship Potemkin and Strike.
Amazing.
Pretty much his two most,
Great.
the two films he's most famous for
Yep.
will be on one Blu-ray.
Fabulous.
Pretty good. That comes out in November.
Good stuff.
Anyway, good stuff coming out if you're a film historian,
Yeah.
a lover of historic great films.
All right, Mark.
Yes.
I would pay you.
You've been waiting for me to stop so you can
Yeah.
talk about your little joke with the paper.
Yeah,
Go.
I would pay you how much in Republic of Wadia money? I don't even know the currency. How much you want? 100,000, 200,000? I have Wadia $100,000 bills here.
Now, can I actually?
Here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4.
Is this real currency
6,
I can use
7,
at the supermarket
8, 9.
and everywhere?
1 million Wadia, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Melachams or something.
Oh my God! They actually gave you
2,
this.
3, 4.
These are actual. Well, when I say actual,
2 million. They sent me 2 million.
Look at that.
In Wadia money.
this is actual.
Yes.
Actual, of course, is relative, but this is actual Wadia currency we have been given.
And then we got an invite.
We
The
did?
Supreme Leader for Life of the Democratic Republic of Wadia, Admiral General Aladdin, cordially compels you to attend the Blu-ray and DVD launch party for his latest award-winning film,
A party.
The Dictator. Yes.
When is it?
Featuring a special live performance by the 2 currently surviving members of Menudo, including their new #1 single in Wadia, General de Aladdin, Es El Hombre. food, beverages, pussycat dolls, and antibiotics. Tuesday, August 21st, 2012, 6 o'clock p.m. till whenever. Takes place in Sana'a, Yemen.
Oh, give me that. I thought it was a real party. That's lame. It's all excited. Free food's coming my way.
That's the whole point.
No,
Then we have a letter here.
I want free food.
My beloved friend and puppet of the Zionist-controlled Western media, Wade. See, even put my name on it.
Look at
Isn't
that.
Great? Yeah.
Cut and paste.
I am writing to thank you in advance for your 5 out of 4-star review of the upcoming Blu-ray and DVD editions of my film, The Dictator. I regret that I cannot be there in person to guide you during your reviewing process. However, the guards currently posted outside your home and office are there to help you make the right choices. Please do not feel in any way pressured to write favorable things. You are, of course, completely free to say whatever you wish, just as John Lennon was free to refuse my father an autograph in 1980. JFK was free to refuse him a nuke in 1963, and Marilyn Monroe was free to refuse him a BJ in 1962. He never met Princess Diana. Honest. I look forward to having your completely unbiased and overwhelmingly positive review of my DVD and Blu-ray. They will be released on August 21st. As for your families, well, that's up to you. Your loyal ally, and then it's his name in Arabic and in signed with with Admiral, the dot over the I in Admiral. It's a little heart.
Well, because he knew.
P.S. Are you going to Saudi Gaddafi's Labor Day party in the Hamptons? If so, are you going to wear white? I always feel so overdressed. Anyway, this is hysterical.
I feel about The Dictator the same way I feel about The Campaign.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know that it is the scathing satire you want it to be, but it is very funny.
It's very funny. And this is our giveaway this week, but not just a giveaway. We're not just giving away the Blu-ray, Mark.
What?
We're not just giving away the Blu-ray. Here is our giveaway. I'm going to read it verbatim. Celebrate the glorious reign of Admiral General Aladdin, Supreme Leader for Life of the Democratic Republic of Wadia, with this officially sanctioned home viewing party kit. The kit features all the essentials you'll need to show your unreserved and completely voluntary devotion to the almighty Aladdin, including a Wadian flag to wave continuously throughout the film, a Wadian notebook for documenting your ecstatic reactions, a Re-elect Aladdin 2012 T-shirt to demonstrate your dedication to a free and open political system, and, of course, coconut water to stay hydrated. It all comes packaged in an eco-friendly reusable tote bag, which you should promptly discard as there is no such thing as global warming. So this is the Blu-ray and DVD combo party viewing kit, Mark, the whole schmear. And it is going to go to the person whose limerick we like the best.
What? You just made that up.
No.
What? Who said that?
It's a limerick. There's a limerick contest.
Wait, was that?
No.
Did you make that up, or is that part of the thing?
No, that's not part of the thing. That's our thing.
No, that ain't my thing. It's your thing.
Well,
you just made that up. You pulled it out of your butt right now.
I sorted that out with the publicists.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You did not.
No, it was. I said, we want to make the part make it special, so it's going to be a limerick contest.
Whatever.
Yeah. It's a limerick contest, so go ahead and send us your limericks about the dictator. Just send us a dictator limerick. And it doesn't have to be about him, the dictator. It could be a limerick about any dictator.
I will. You know what? I will actually give you your first line. There once was a man from Wadia. You know it's going to all start like that.
Sure. But you could send us a limerick about Mussolini, about Gaddafi.
So what does that mean? So is it the one that we think is funniest?
Yeah, whatever the funniest one is. We're gonna judge limericks.
Wow.
So send us your emails to gods@digigods.com. Put dictator in the subject line. Just dictator, Dictator. And give us a limerick and include your name and address, please.
Yes, we don't have to want to chase after you after you've won to get your address.
This only goes to one person, so it's going to be one person with a great limerick. So send us your cool limericks to gods@digigods.com. Dictator in the subject line. Include your name and address. And we will be taking those until midnight of the 24th, Friday the 24th. So, you've got until Friday the 24th, and just as long as it doesn't matter midnight where, just as long as your email is date stamped the 24th, we're good. And then we will announce it on the following show, read some of the limericks, read the best ones, the winning one, obviously, and a very happy person is going to get this amazing viewing kit along with the Blu-ray and DVD combo kit, which includes a digital copy as well. Now, Mark, as for the movie itself, we hate it, don't we? No,
yeah,
we like it.
do.
It's funny. It is funny.
It's very funny.
It's really funny.
It's very funny. It's a good looking Blu-ray. It's a 2440 to 1 transfer, so it's widescreen. It's digital, but unlike a lot of digital films, it doesn't look overly digital, mainly because there's a lot of stuff shot during the daytime, and daytime digital always looks better than nighttime digital. So it looks good. The audio quality is good. There's not a huge amount of extras. There are some deleted and extended scenes, which are very funny. There's a music video. There's an extended Larry King interview. And, of course, it also includes a DVD and a digital copy. So I think this film is actually very funny. Like I said before, except for the end where there's a very funny, very trenchant, very pointed speech.
Yeah.
It may not be the political critique that you want it to be. It is still ultimately, when you look at it like the campaign, just very funny.
I agree.
I constantly laughed when I was watching it.
I agree. No, I think so. I think so too. It's look. Sacha Baron Cohen has no shame, and that's what I think makes it funny. And the fact that he originally proclaimed that it was based on Saddam Hussein's unpublished semi-autobiographical novel. I don't know how in any way it's even remotely based on that, but it doesn't matter. It was good PR.
You know what? I think that the movies need someone like Sacha Baron Cohen.
Hell yeah.
Almost like,
Absolutely.
we need like Ricky Gervais.
I agree.
Zach Galifianakis.
Yep.
People you feel like they're not in this box of being a leading man. You feel like they always surprise you. They always do something funny and interesting. There's not a lot of guys out there. In fact, I guess when Ricky Gervais and Sacha Baron Cohen and Galifianakis are probably pretty much the only three.
I agree.
Maybe there's a couple more, but
Yeah.
I think that the movies need him. Even though his last film, what's the one about the what was his last film?
Oh, before that.
The one with the hang on, I'm gonna look it up. So let's see. Can I find it on the internet fast and wait and think of it?
I'm trying to think what you're talking about.
Bruno.
Oh, Bruno. That's right. Jeez, I forgot about Bruno.
Bruno, not that funny.
Except
Have
for
to
one
say.
moment. I got to tell you.
What was that?
It's the montage that ends with Bruno. You remember that, right?
Yes, I do.
What actually speaks the name Bruno in that little montage?
Yes.
Oh
right.
my gosh, that was funny.
Yes, it was.
Okay,
Anyway,
moving on.
Oh, and the what we were sitting in the screening of Total Recall, killing like 10 minutes before the movie started.
Yeah.
I think it was Total Recall.
Yeah.
It was Total Recall. And you whipped out your computer. When I said whipped out, you thought something else was happening. No, computer. And you showed me, because Gore Vidal had just died.
Oh, that's
and
right.
I love
yeah.
Gore Vidal.
Yeah.
And you showed me Ali G interviewing Gore Vidal.
Yes. It's hysterical.
It's so funny.
Point at which he says, in addition to being a historian and a writer and all this stuff, you were also like an amazing hairdresser. And he's straight faced. Gore Vidal says, no, that's Vidal Sassoon. And he keeps it going with it. He doesn't let it go. He goes, so how do you style hair?
I wonder, do you think Gore Vidal knew who Ali... Did he
No.
know it was a goof?
No, I don't think he did. I think he was just being really patient.
All right, Wade, here we go. The other big release this week is The Hunger Games, which is
Yeah.
on a 2-disc Blu-ray, which also includes a digital copy. This movie does a great job hiding what it actually is, which is kids slaughtering other kids. I did like this film. I thought it got the job done. I was not a big fan of how Gary Ross visually presented the material, although it got a little less obnoxious as it went along. You know what it is? When you start with... The problem with starting with all the shaky cam stuff, right? And maybe he does that because he wants to disorient you. He wants you to have to kind of work to figure out your environment. When you do that, when you start like that, the movie can't build to anything,
Right.
Because you're disoriented and you're engaged in that sense from second one, as opposed to starting slow and the horrible, deadened, leaden world that these people live in, and then you ramp up the action. So now the movie's got somewhere to go. Here it starts wild and crazy with the shaky cam and the quick cut edits. So by the end, it's not as exciting because it's just one long kind of beat.
You know what? Look, it borrows from so many other movies that I like better. You know, Running Man and on and on and on and on. You can sort of fill in the blanks of all the post-apocalyptic films that it's sort of stealing from. But I
don't mind that it steals from other films. Everything steals from everything else.
No, true.
It's just, do you make it your own?
But it doesn't. It never felt fresh. Logan's Run is obviously
Logan's Run.
Totally. And at the same time, look, much as I love the actors in this film, and I really do like almost all the actors. I think they're great. Jennifer Lawrence is terrific, and Donald Sutherland is great. But, it just didn't... and a lot of it has to do with the visuals. I didn't like the photography. Just didn't like it.
I did not like the photography either. But I think that its target audience liked it a lot.
There you go.
It made an unbelievable crap load of money, with the sequels being inevitable and being
There it
shot, I
is.
think, back-to-back. Are they not being shot back-to-back?
I don't
even
know.
know. Francis Lawrence is doing the second one.
Yeah.
Francis Lawrence from...
Which is it's a good choice.
Constantine, which I hated, but I Am Legend,
Yeah,
which
but-
kind of had moments, and then, I'm not... I think this is going to be
Yeah,
an interesting test for him.
I agree.
Anyway, so Hunger Games, does the Blu-ray look good? The Blu-ray looks great. It is a great-looking Blu-ray. It is a great-sounding Blu-ray. The second disc includes a whole bunch of featurettes, including something on the Suzanne Collins, who wrote the books, and the phenomenon of the books and the movie, how they made the movie. Interview with Gary Ross, who's the director. Of course, Gary Ross talking to Elvis Mitchell, film critic Elvis Mitchell.
Yep.
And so it's good. If you like Hunger Games, you
Right
cannot
on.
not get this.
Right on. And Weekend. Here's the Weekend we're talking about. This Weekend came out last year. It is by Andrew Haig, an English filmmaker, his first film. And you know what? To get the Criterion treatment for your first film, pretty impressive. That means you impressed the people at Criterion, because I guarantee you he didn't go chasing after this. Criterion went chasing after them and said, we want to ordain you with our awesomeness. And indeed they did. It's a great Blu-ray, a terrific Blu-ray. I didn't think the film was that great looking, frankly, when I saw it, but Criterion makes it look better than I think it has any business looking. You know, this is not Godard's Weekend. This is the 2011 Weekend by Andrew Haig, which is basically the story of a gay one-night stand, two men who, from totally different backgrounds, who their one-night stand kind of turns into a remarkable weekend of discovery and romance and, of course, sex. If gay sex bothers you, and that's not to say that, you may be homophobic, it's just, look, it's not for everyone, obviously, then I don't recommend this movie because it's a very explicit film. If you're okay with it, it's a very rewarding film, and I don't think it's a great film, but I think it's a very impressive directing debut. It's very intimate. It's surprisingly explicit, yet not in a gratuitous way, and it's worth watching. It's grown on me more over time. And I think Andrew Haig is a very talented filmmaker, and I really look forward to seeing what he does next. That being said, I wish the extras on here were better. There's a lot of extras, as Criterion often does, but it's all kind of, it's sort of predictable stuff. It's, a lot of interviews and on-set footage that other people shot and, some audition footage, video essay, that kind of stuff. It's, a couple of short films by Haig as well, which are interesting and certainly will be more interesting as he makes more feature films and we get a sense of where he's going as an artist. So that being said, I really do recommend it. Not, my, top Blu-ray of the week, but it's a very, very good film.
Okay, I liked it more than you did, and the reason why I liked it more than you did is because I felt like it was very attentive to the details of modern courtship,
right?
Even more than relationships. And I think that if this relationship was not a gay relationship, I think people would have enjoyed it a lot.
Yes.
People would have been more accepting of it.
I agree.
But because it's quite explicit,
well,
and it just feels very authentic.
That's the thing. And look, here. I mean, we're getting into kind of Brokeback Mountain territory here. I mean, my first reaction to this was, I don't think what's so special if this were not specifically a gay film. It would just be another one of those, man meets a woman, and there've been a million of these. The French make like 10 of these movies every year. A pornographic affair with Miu Miu and that what's his name, Gonzalez or whatever, the Spanish actor. That was kind of the same thing. And I just thought, well, I've seen this done better from the hetero angle. But if you watch it again, you realize that it really does some very, very delicate and sensitive things that are very interesting. So it's grown on me over time.
See?
Yeah.
See, I made you reevaluate
You
it.
did.
Thank you.
And then we got Bernie. Bernie is an interesting film. I wish it were a better film. Richard Linklater tried to do some very, very interesting things here. This stars Jack Black and Shirley MacLaine and Matthew McConaughey. It is the true story of a guy in Texas who was this kind of very fey, possibly homosexual. It really is a very strong undertow in it. Funeral director who winds up sort of in, everyone loved him, but he's very, very meticulous and very outgoing, almost to a creepy degree. And this guy literally wound up killing this sort of old dowager that he ingratiated himself into her life and, wound up basically taking over her life and her money and everything. And, before that, he was in the choir and the church and the whole thing. He was the last person anyone would have expected to murder anybody. Matthew McConaughey, of course, is the police chief, the sheriff who, solves everything. And the whole thing is done in a really interesting way because a lot of the people who were part of these events originally, they are interviewed, kind of like Warren Beatty did with Reds. There are these actual interviews, like documentary interviews with them as they talk about Bernie, and Bernie did this and Bernie did that, and then you get back into the movie, and you're always popping out of the movie into these real documentary-style interviews and then back in. It's a very interesting thing, and Linklater's a very talented director. He did a good job with Black in School of Rock, which I think is a terrific film.
You know what? That might be my that and
that's my favorite Linklater film, far and away.
It could kind of be.
Yeah. This is a fun film, but it's not a great film. It just kind of barely misses it, and I'm not quite sure why. Which frustrates me to no end, because Jack Black is terrific, but definitely worth seeing, at least worth a rental. The Blu-ray is fine. Not brilliant. This is from Millennium, and they don't put as much into their Blu-rays as I wish they did. Really, no special features, just deleted scenes and a featurette, and so at least worth a rental, but probably doesn't have to be on Blu-ray.
What also doesn't have to be on Blu-ray is Let Go, and of course, it's not on Blu-ray. So there you go. This is the first film from a young writer-director named Brian Jett. And this is an interesting kind of film. The only person you probably will have really heard of is Ed Asner. And if you want to see Ed Asner toting a pistol,
oh yeah,
then you need to see
Big Time.
Let Go.
Okay.
You know what? This is kind of it's a quirky little film. It kind of grows on you. I think that really this feels like the film that Jett is using to sort of learn on the job, and then he will eventually go on to make better films that are a little bit more conceptually complete and a little more stylistically interesting, with scripts that are a little bit less sort of like, oh, look at me, I'm like an indie Sundance twee thing.
Yeah.
But for now, you have this guy's David Denham plays his parole officer, and he's in a marriage that's not that happy, and then he meets these ex-cons, and they kind of turn his life around.
I like Kevin Hart.
Huh?
I like Kevin Hart.
You do?
I do. I think he's funny.
But Ed Asner.
I know.
He was Lou
I'm
Grant.
just saying I like Kevin Hart.
He's Lou Grant.
I know.
Anyway, so there's stuff here that really isn't that bad. I feel like this is almost like Brian's, not his first film, but his like 0.5.
Yeah.
He hasn't made his first film yet. This is his like 0.5 film. And the next film he makes, I think we'll get a better sense of how he's going to be as a director, whether he will develop his own sensibility.
Yeah.
But this isn't a horrible start for him.
No.
Let Go. What is horrible is a movie called Hell. Now, this is from the executive producer of the movie 2012, which means absolutely nothing. And here, this is a movie about,
Hell?
it's one of those post-apocalyptic type things where like the world is a barren wasteland.
The logo just
and
tells
there's
you.
no
Look,
water, and
look,
this girl and his sister have to find. Who cares?
The artwork tells you everything. It's got hell and this kind of blood drippy graffiti drawn logo, and then some guy in like a gas mask and people holding axes and crap in the reflection. It's like, okay, it's after the apocalypse. You can't breathe the air. People are going to try and kill you, and it's going to be bloody. That's done. Seriously, it's great. It's great marketing. It tells you everything.
Well, also,
I didn't watch it, and I know exactly what it is.
It does kind of have that like Hunger Games-y thing where people in the wilderness are trying to survive. But there's a million films like this that are out there, and there's it's pretty quick cut. So that's quick cut, music stings. That's kind of how they get the scares, as opposed to creating some serious tension.
Yep.
But there's a million movies like this. I wouldn't necessarily recommend Hell unless you've seen all the other ones. But there you go. And it's a little low budget, so even though it's on Blu-ray, it's not like a Blu-ray showcase film.
I have such mixed feelings about Hideaway, starring Josh Lucas. This film won the Cinematography Award at South by Southwest Film Festival, and it's directed by Chris Eyre, who, of course, did Smoke Signals and became kind of a big deal at Sundance at that time. I've never thought much of Chris Eyre as a director until this film, to be honest. I really thought he was incredibly overrated, and this film is really, really well directed. Josh Lucas just gives a crazy good performance, one of the best performances he's ever given, and I liked him a lot in what was it?
That basketball thing he did? Not the basketball.
No, not the basketball thing. No. The one. It was one of the first things he. Forget it.
I'll think. Tell me who he played.
No. I'm trying to remember the
Explain
the
it.
deep end. The deep end.
Well, the deep end.
The deep end.
Oh, the deep end. What happened to him, by the way? That guy doesn't really work much anymore. I think he's kind of like lost it. He never became a leading man. he's kind of too handsome to be a supporting character.
Well, he's really good in this. I mean, the problem here is that this is a beautiful looking film. It's incredibly well acted. James Cromwell is great. But this is a story. It's basically about a guy who's, you know this from the beginning. His family's dead. You know, his wife and child gone. Hey, are you okay?
Well, I'm crying because his wife and child are dead.
Snuffed out. And so he sort of retreats from life. Snuffed out.
In a gangland slang.
Well, no. You see how it happened. It's basically an auto accident. But, he sort of retreats into this. He buys a boat and retreats into the boat. And, Cromwell's another one of the people in the boating community. And it's just about a guy mourning his horrible life and trying to get it restarted again.
Yeah, but you know what? There are
a lot of movies that do that, I know.
It's very poignant and it's very sincere. But, you have all these lines of dialogue like there was one line that was like, "You can't change the direction of the wind, but you can adjust your sails." Like all that sort of allegorical dialogue that's just kind of like a little bit sappy. But it's a very sincere, very well-meaning film. So I have to say that I guess you can enjoy it on that level. But otherwise, it's just a little too maudlin for me.
I agree. And then we have a thing here called The Bunny Game. This is a Blu-ray DVD combo. You know what? This film was allegedly banned in the UK, and it's kind of a boy. How honestly do you describe this? This is a very, very strange, unusual, avant-garde, daring, low-budget, and kind of aggressively, assaultively shocking black and white film that it's pretty much for people who just want Here's what I would say. If you hate everything about the way the movies are today, you will love this because it just screws with everything. It's just a complete counterculture, punk rock kind of retro black and white fable. And
how does this compare with The Brown Bunny?
Much more shocking. And that's the thing I probably have with it, is that it's intentionally shocking in kind of a gory and sadistic way. And I wish they hadn't gone there if they had just kind of stuck with the style. But anyway, The Bunny Game, let's just say this is call it Saw for the art film set.
Well, that would be a compliment,
I guess. And then we have Zach Parker's Scalene, Scalene. The truth is just a point of view. This is kind of a cool little thriller from Breaking Glass. It's a little bit Rashomon-like. It's told from 3 different points of view, and not bad. I mean, it's made on a shoestring. You could tell they spent actually no money whatsoever. But I love the fact that with this no-name cast and no money, that they were able to still be very daring and put together a film that really tries to do something different. And when you don't have a lot of money and you're going to have a problem marketing it, that's always an uphill battle. So bravo to Zach Parker, who I know nothing about, frankly, as a filmmaker. But gosh, I hope somebody gives him enough money to make a movie with named stars and kind of take it up a level, because given what they did with this film and the limitations, I think they could do something really interesting, Babel-like in the next phase. So go for it.
Wade, there's another movie we want to talk about called Life Happens. Life Happens is a kind of a female empowerment ensemble comedy. It's with Kristen Ritter, Kate Bosworth, and Rachel Bilson. And Kristen Ritter plays a girl who becomes pregnant, and she's having problems raising the kid, and so her other girlfriends they're jumping back on the dating scene while trying to help her out, and as she deals with single motherhood. And, this is kind of one of those movies that takes like a real situation and turns it into something completely artificial and just like kind of unfunny. It's very much a trifle. It doesn't really add up to all that much. It's totally paper thin. I think that the actresses definitely have a fun time with it. I wish that the movie had a little bit more to say about what it's actually telling us. But it's kind of a muddle, and I do like the fact that it does star 3 women in a comedy, which is kind of rare. So I understand why it didn't get a theatrical release, or a very tiny theatrical release is what it got. But anyway, so Life Happens is not very good. It takes a real life situation and turns it into like nothing. But you know what the good news is?
Yeah.
At least Life Happens doesn't star Katherine Heigl.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
And that's important.
right, Mark, I got a pile of Disney titles here. They are all Blu-ray DVD combos. They've all been blown out this week, and they are all, with the exception of the one I'm going to talk about right now, super significant. The first one is the only one that's not animated. This is Disney Nature's Chimpanzee, which was released last year. And basically, Disney Nature is doing a lot of this stuff. This is a very aggressive arm of Disney that seems to be pulling its own financially. They send their great documentary filmmakers and their fabulous cameras deep into the heart of the African jungle, and they find a really cute little chimp. They name him Oscar. I don't think he knows that his name is Oscar.
Yes, he does, because he's cute.
And I think the fact they named him Oscar kind of annoys me because it's sort of like, give us an Oscar. No.
They didn't do it for that reason.
I don't know. Anyway, you know what? Look, it's a good film. If you like sort of these movies where they just delve into the inner workings of chimpanzee society. Frankly, I think chimps are just creepy because all I can think of is every time somebody, has a pet chimp, it winds up going crazy and biting somebody's genitals off and ripping their face in two. And I no longer think that chimpanzees are really, quite as cute as Dr. Zaius. No, I'm sorry.
Dr. Zaius was not cute.
No, Dr. Zaius, not cute.
Now, Zira.
Yeah, Zira.
Smoking.
Yeah, delicious? Zira delicious? Anyway, that's Chimpanzee. Beautiful looking. I just find them creepy. And the animated stuff, here we go. Boy, we're going to blow through these. The Rescuers 35th Anniversary Edition and The Rescuers Down Under. Love them both. Could I just say I love them both? I love Bob Newhart. Love Eva Gabor. I think these movies are so much fun, and Disney nailed it with the Blu-ray. It is fantastic. I've been waiting for The Rescuers and The Rescuers Down Under on Blu-ray forever, and they are gorgeous. Honestly, fantastic, Disney. Bravo. Even better is the Blu-ray DVD special edition of the Aristocats, one of my favorite all-time Disney animated films. I am so elated this is finally out. It is great. Tons and tons of bonus features. Unfortunately, it's DVD. Disc 2 is a DVD. Disc 1 is all the Blu-ray stuff, which has some of its own features, but it'd be nice if it was all high def. All high def. That's all I'm asking for. And by the way, same thing on the Rescuers Down Under, which is 3 discs. The disc 2 and 3 extra stuff is all DVD. Blu-ray is disc 1. And then we've got Pocahontas and Pocahontas 2. This is a 2-movie collection on 3 discs.
Pocahontas 2: The Revenge.
You know what? Pocahontas 2, absolutely ridiculous. Forget it. It's just stupid and horrible, and it's here only as a DVD. Blu-ray is reserved for Pocahontas, one of the weaker films, which has some good songs, just around the river bend. But I recommend it for Pocahontas, not Pocahontas 2. You could do without all that stuff. Then we also have Lady and the Tramp 2: Scamp's Adventure, which is surprisingly good, to be honest. It's got some sing-alongs on the DVD, but all the other cool extras are on the Blu-ray, and it ain't bad, really. I was shocked. All those years later, when you resurrect a classic and you try to sort of whore off of it, winds up being pretty good. And lastly is a movie that really I thought we were going to give our animation award to because everybody was really high on it, and we wound up not doing it. But it's the Tigger movie, which likely...
We were not.
We almost...
We were going to give our animation award to the Tigger movie?
There were so many people that were pushing for this. Don't you remember that?
I do not.
A lot of people were pushing for the Tigger movie.
Not Charles Solomon.
Yeah, he was actually, kind of, sort of. Anyway, this is the Bounce-arific Special Edition. Lots of R's in the Bounce-arific. And you know what? They still really do know what makes Winnie the Pooh work. The animation is seamless. You would never know that so many years have intervened. And it's fun. It's true to the spirit of the original, and the Blu-ray is just fantastic. A lot of Pooh shorts on here, by the way. Tons. There's I think
shorts
10,
about Pooh?
10, yes, exactly.
There's shorts about Pooh, Wade?
10 Winnie the Pooh shorts on here. And it's delightful. It's delightful. It's just delightful. The kids are going to love it. And if you have a big TV, the Blu-ray just blows off of it. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Wade, as we wrap up the show for this week, Good Will Hunting has been on Blu-ray a couple times, and now we have another one.
Yeah.
This is the 15th anniversary of Good Will Hunting. This film... it's a really good film. It really is. If you're afraid that it doesn't hold up, worry not. It definitely holds up. Robin Williams won an Oscar for this, as did screenwriters Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. And of course, if you don't remember in the film, Matt Damon is like the janitor at like one of the the U.S.'s like top universities. But it turns out he's not just a janitor. Turns out, surprise, surprise, he's one of their smartest students.
No.
Now, it sounds kind of ridiculous, like that's kind of lame. But you know what? It's a heartfelt film. It's a good movie. I think that it's an intimate film, but it's also very funny. Matt Damon, I feel, kind of has never really gotten his due as an actor. And although here he's obviously much younger and he hasn't really kind of found his way as an actor, I still like him in this. I think he doesn't get his due as an actor, but he's good in this. And Gus Van Sant has a lot to do with the way the movie comes across. Because like we were saying before about some of these other films, Gus Van Sant is a very authentic director. He embraces the emotions in a film, but he still lets the humor come through. Mm-hmm. And it's a terrific film. It's a touching film. And, it seems like, Good Will Hunting is like kind of lame. It's so old and who cares? But you know what? Holds up. A lot of the extras were on the previous Blu-ray, although there are some new extras, including a retrospective with some new interviews. And, an interview with Matt Damon, remembering the film. So, if you have the previous Blu-ray, do you need this Blu-ray? I'm going to say kind of not. But if you don't have Good Will Hunting on Blu-ray, get this one, the 15th Anniversary Edition. It is a good film. Totally holds up.
Very good film. And, I give William Goldman all the credit in the world for coaching those guys into taking their little thrillery screenplay and turning it into something character-driven.
And I also give William Goldman credit for constantly not taking credit.
Yes.
He always claims that it's all Damon and Affleck. It's their script. It's their script.
Class act, man. How old is he now, by the way?
I think he's about 26 years old.
Find that information. I'm gonna
Maybe I will. You know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to find that information out, Wade.
Before we get into our Vox Box, and by the way, I'll remind you right now, send us emails at gods@digigods.com. Also send us your Vox Boxes at gods@digigods.com. If you don't know what the Vox Box is, if you're a newcomer to the show, recorded in any sound format. We're miracles here. We can read anything.
81 years old.
Jeez. So send us your Vox Boxes, and, if they're about William Goldman or not, I don't care. But send your questions, your audio questions. Try to keep them somewhat, constrained. Like a minute-long question isn't bad. But, like a 20-minute lecture, I don't think we could run that on the show. But send those to gods@digigods.com if you can record them. And right now, I'm going to wrap up before we get to the Vox Box, with a bunch of catalog titles from some companies that we really love. And that starts with Twilight Time. You can only get the Twilight Time titles at screenarchives.com. That's screenarchives.com. That's the only place you can find these, and you've got to go there because you've got to get these titles. Mark, on Blu-ray, we talk about this. Why do these companies that have these output agreements where they license titles from the studios, I don't know why the studios let them go. I'm grateful they do. But how could Sony Columbia let Bye Bye Birdie go? Oh, my gosh. Are you kidding me? This is one of the great, joyous musicals of all time. I love this movie. This is tons and tons of fun. Anne Margaret stars in the film version of Bye Bye Birdie, beautifully directed by a veteran musical director, George Sidney, who did so many great films. Twilight Time just bloody nails it with the Blu-ray. It is a great time. Also from Twilight Time and at screenarchives.com is an unusual and largely unknown Blake Edwards film starring Bing Crosby called High Time. And good luck if you've ever even heard of this. It's weird. This is one of those Blake Edwards movies that just vanished into sort of the history books. It's an older Bing Crosby. He's made in 1960. And he plays a restaurant owner, kind of a big-time restaurant maven, who decides to go back to college. And it's interesting. It's not quite like Back to School, the Rodney Dangerfield movie. Obviously, it's not that broad, but it hits a lot of the same beats. And it's not a bad movie at all. It's kind of a for-hire job for Blake Edwards. And I think he does a very, very workmanlike job. A lot of very, very, it's good. Garson Kanin, Charles Brackett were involved as writer and producer. It was a bit of a big deal at the time, I guess, but just faded from the history books. And then we have a whole bunch of great films from Olive, who licenses most of their titles from the Paramount library. And real quickly here, just as we're getting close to the end of the show, we've got Helen Hayes and Van Heflin, Robert Walker, and Dean Jagger in Leo McCarey's My Son John. Leo McCarey, of course, did Going My Way, Bells of St. Mary's, tons of movies. Real great classic studio director. And this is an interesting drama that deals with a couple who's very, very religious, played by Helen Hayes and Dean Jagger. And they think, just maybe, that their son, Robert Walker,
is gay.
Is a communist.
Is gay?
Yes. They think he's a communist.
A gay communist?
Well, anyway, it's an interesting film from the Red Scare era, and it dates a little bit. I think people who didn't grow up during the Cold War, who didn't know about all that, But it certainly is a product of its time, and I think it's a film that's well worth watching again. Captain Carey, USA, starring Alan Ladd. I always enjoy watching Alan Ladd films because my father used to tell me Alan Ladd stories. This is kind of a cool post-World War II a spy film with, takes place in Italy and a lot of twists and turns. Not exactly like the Bourne films, but it's good. Not brilliant, but good. And a nice Blu-ray, quite a nice transfer there. Private Hell 36, starring Ida Lupino and Steve Cochran, and also Dean Jagger, who we mentioned just a second ago. This is one of those Don Siegel films, pre-Dirty Harry and sort of more around the time of Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 1954, where you sort of realize that Don Siegel is pushing things in an entirely different direction. This is a very, very cool film noir that feels like a more modern film noir. It's raw and it's claustrophobic, and and Ida Lupino is great in it. So if you love film noirs and if you want to see Ida Lupino just nail it as the femme fatale, you're going to love it. And then Stephen King's Thinner from 1995, 96, somewhere there in the late 90s.
This is lame. I wanted to like it, but it's lame.
Boy, I'll tell you, this I had forgotten that this even existed. This was just this is a stupid film. And Tom Holland, who directed it, made a lot of crap back then. And I'm thrilled that Olive is pulling stuff from other libraries. This was released by Paramount, but it was an Aaron Spelling production at the time. And wow, I don't know. If you like those Stephen King things from that period, there really weren't very many good ones, but there were a lot of bad ones. All right, Mark, it is time to do the Vox Box.
Wait, is it time to sing the song?
You better do it.
Where you realize in 1 month the Bond 50 Blu-ray comes out.
I know. Come on, Mark.
Okay, here we go.
Lead us in.
It's Vox Box.
Hey Mark and Wade, my name is Levy and I'm from Melbourne, Australia, and I am an aspiring film critic. First of all, I would like to thank you for making my long and arduous bus trip home from a distant university much more bearable and enjoyable. My question today is in regards to what it's like to be a film critic. From my extensive research and fangirl-like following of your rants on stupid film movies, I'm aware that one of the more unpleasant aspects of being a film critic is the fact that you can't pick the movies you want to watch, and that after many hours a week spent on watching movies, boring films which may be bearable to the average film lover may be unbearable to you guys. However, I think that there's another aspect of which is beyond the point of unbearable boredom, and that's unbearable provocation of your morals. Has there been a time in your professional writing life when you walked out of a film screening due to the fact that you were so uncomfortable with the obvious promotion or exploitation of something horrible, that despite how much you want to be a professional and how much you want to be objective, you cannot help but be horrified and you just want to escape? I mean, I know that Roger Ebert has claimed to have walked out of the screening of Caligula years ago. I know that breaking moral grounds is something that films do often, with the results of which demonstrate beauty or it encourages discussion and all is sort of well in the end. But there are those films which primary goal is just to generate negative publicity for commercial sake. Lastly, I was wondering if, especially after many years of being exposed to these kinds of films, do you feel like they changed you in any way, and are they for the positive or for the negative? I'm sorry, but that's a bit nosy. And yeah, thank you for continuing doing your podcast. Bye.
Levy, I'm going to be honest, you have the most adorable Australian accent, and I love Australian accents. I really do. Australian and Jamaican accents, I can't get enough of them. That's why I watch the Olympics. I watch the Olympics for all the Australians and the Jamaicans to just talk to the camera. It's just great.
I want her to email us or maybe send us another Vox Box, and I want to know the difference between an Australian accent and a New Zealand accent.
I've had it explained to me, and it makes
no
sense.
But why it offends one if you mistake it for the other.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
All right, so have we ever been so morally offended by a film that we... Well, I have not, and I'll tell you why. Because, first of all, very few films like that are released right now. It's just not that kind of a time. I would imagine that even if I was asked to see something like The Human Centipede, I would probably recuse myself from reviewing it because I know I would hate it. I was not asked to review that. That was reviewed by somebody else.
Right.
But if someone had said, would you like to review The Human Centipede, I would have said no, because I know I'm going to hate it.
I did, actually, once. Only once. And you know, you do get it kind of dulled to it. And there are movies that sort of hit you in the wrong way, and you think, but only once have I ever actually walked out of a movie. And I'll tell you, it was a Hong Kong movie, believe it or not. I was at the American Film Festival, American Film Market, and there was a film that was being sold there, starring the actress who stars in the great Hong Kong film Black Cat. And I thought, oh man, that's great. I've never seen this film. I never heard of it. I thought it was a new film. Turns out it was an older film, a pre-Black Cat film that she had done before she was a significant star. She's not even really the star of it. They were just using her to market it, and they had changed the title. And they were sort of not letting anyone know that it was an older film. They'd taken that older film, tried to market it as a newer film, something completely that it wasn't. And it was about 5 minutes into the film when I realized what it was, that it was this older film, which is actually almost snuff film offensive. It's a serial killer film where they're looking for a guy who's kidnapping young prostitutes in Hong Kong and dismembering them. And it got to the scene where he has a woman hanging on a meat hook, and he is raping her, and then he goes and he pulls out the chainsaw to cut her up. And it was at that moment that I said, you know what? I never wanted to see this film. I'm so offended, not only by the content of the film and the unbelievably gratuitous, exploitive nature of where it's going, but I'm really offended that they fooled me into coming into it by pretending that it was something other than it wasn't. And I walked out. It's the only time I've ever done that.
I mean, the only time you get stuff like that, again, like we said before, is some of this torture porn stuff.
Yeah.
That tends to be the modern equivalent of those films of, like, the Saw films.
Yeah.
Those... I don't know that they morally offend me. I just find them offensive only because they try to scare the audience in the most basest way possible.
I agree.
They're just not creative enough to do it like the way real filmmakers do it.
Yep.
I know years ago at Cannes there was a film called Irreversible.
Yeah.
That included a 9-minute uninterrupted take of Monica Bellucci getting raped.
Yeah.
And that was offensive to people at Cannes. In fact, when that film was over, I remember I yelled "Palme d'Or" when that film was over.
You know, and in answer to the second question, what has watching all these movies done to us? You know what? My kind of textbook.
It's made me single. That's what it's done. It's kept me from meeting a woman.
I'll tell you, it's amazing how many film critics really are single. I feel it really is. If you sit there in LAFCA and you look around at how many of them are married, much less how many have kids, you kind of go, "Geez, this is like being a cop or something." No, I'll say this. My textbook answer to that is usually I enjoy fewer films today. I enjoy very few films, but the ones that I do enjoy, I enjoy immensely because it's like finding a diamond, in a haystack. It really. But they're fewer and far between, and really it's become a chore. The weeks that I do radio for NPR, and this next week is another one of them, I'm going to have to spend the better part of this weekend watching 8 or 9 movies, and I'm not looking forward to any of them, to be honest, except for compliance. So it does get to be a chore at a certain point. Does it change you in any significant way? Yeah, it dulls your sensibilities to the shock factor, but you really do appreciate the movies that can touch you emotionally. When you can sit there in something like The Artist or La Vie en Rose or Jean de Florette or whatever it may be, and a movie brings you to tears, it just reminds me that my humanity is alive and well, no matter how callous the other movies have made me.
I remember sitting, this is the most recent example I can think of because it's been a bad year for movies so far, but I remember sitting in Moonrise Kingdom saying, oh my God, okay.
Totally right.
This is why I love movies. This is it. I am just wash over me and make me love movies again, Moonrise Kingdom.
There we go.
And it did. But again, because all of these movie studios are run by gigantic conglomerates, you tend to get a certain type of movie during a certain type of the year, which means the only decent movies that come out in the fall and let's say the winter. At the beginning of the year, it tends to be movies that the studios dump out there because they're terrible and there's no other place for them on the schedule. Memorial Day through the summer, you get the big blockbusters. And some of the big blockbusters don't get credit for being as good, or at least trying to be as decent as they are. The Christopher Nolan films, the Batman films are great. I thought Avengers was terrific. So, there is stuff out there. There are people trying, even something like Prometheus, which I think kind of failed. At least I felt like it kind of tried. But when it comes to the films that make film critics really get jazzed, everybody wants to see the master. That's what everybody wants to see.
Boy, do they.
And that's one of those films where you're like, yes, I am looking forward to this film.
Levy, thank you. What a great question. Really appreciate it. Big shout out to you and all your mates out there in Melbourne. It's dying to go there someday. Really want to go there. So it's on my big bucket list items. Please email us your emails or your Vox boxes at gods@digigods.com, and send us, if you want to enter the Dictator special party kit contest. One person will win it. Just send us an email with a great limerick about either this dictator or any dictator at gods@digigods.com. Put the word dictator in the subject line, and we will make sure that it gets to us date stamped no later than the 24th, Friday, August 24th, 2012. We'll announce the winner next week, along with we'll read some of the limericks. We'll have a good time with this one, and we will see you guys next week.